Good morning, operators. Stand by. Stand by. Coffee's hot, frequency's alive. 145.430. You're listening to the morning hum. This is the Coffee Break Net. Steam rising with the sunrise glow, signals bouncing nice and low. Foothill light and silicon sky, morning check-ins rolling by. Call sign ready, mic in hand, voices drifting through the band. RF dancing in the air, someone's mobile somewhere out there. Keyed up, drop your sign, one at a time, you're sounding fine. Sip soda, rush the day, net control will lead the way. Coffee on the console, radio's awake, morning on the machine, give and take. Voices in the speaker, smooth and clean. So like riding on the beam, checking out, don't hesitate. This is how we caffeinate. From the hills to the bay, W6EK Echo Keel starts the day. Check here. AllStarLink been feeling strong. Echolink brings friends along. Mobile bass or handheld tight. Everyone's sounding right. Morning traffic rolling through. Signal reports 5x2. Laughing in between the keys. Coffee cup and beepers. Mic drop, carry a tone. You're never really alone. One more round, take your place. Good vibes on the interface. Coffee on the console, radio's awake. Morning on the machine, give and take. Voices and the speaker, smooth and clean. Sunlight riding on the beam. Check it out. Don't hesitate. This is how we caffeinate. Morning voices, RF stream. Coffee break, live on the machine. Good morning, operators. Stand by. Coffee's hot. Frequency's alive. Good morning, operators. Stand by. Good morning. Voices. Stand by. Stand by.
welcome to the Coffee Break Net on the W6EK Repeater, located in Auburn, California. The Coffee Break Net, where the sun is always shining, the birds are singing, and the fish are jumping. This net is sponsored by the Foothills Amateur Radio Club in Northern California. And we're here every day of the week from 7:30 to 10 a.m. Pacific Time. Please welcome your net control host and conversation facilitator for today's Coffee Break Net, Brian, AI6US. He's checking in from beautiful Meadow Vista, California. Let's get the Coffee Break Net underway.
Good morning, everyone. AI6US here in beautiful Meadow Vista, California. And yes, it is Tuesday, March 10th, 2026. And we will get the Coffee Break Net underway. Let's see. Let's first take a look at today's national and international days, and then we'll take a few rounds of quick in and outs as we get our morning started. Good morning, everybody. Well, today is National Napping Day, so go ahead and feel free just to take a nap. Maybe that's going to be during the Coffee Break Net, or maybe it's going to be after the Coffee Break Net, but today is National Nap Day. Pack your lunch day. Do you pack your lunch every day, or do you head out to a local cafe, or do you just skip lunch and work through it? Pack your lunch day. Today is National Landline Day. Do you still have a landline at your house? I mean, we're talking the real thing, POTS line, twisted pair, copper, not a emulated IP landline. Not many people do anymore. Paper Money Day, 1862, this day in history, the anniversary of the first United States legal tender notes. Paper Money Day. Do you use much paper anymore? I find myself using it less and less each day. Today is Blueberry Popover Day. That sounds pretty good. And today is Organize Your Home Office Day. Public service announcement, a clean desk is an indication of a sick mind. So be careful how well you clean your desk. Good morning, Coffee Break Net. Let's go ahead and take a round of quick in and outs as you start your day. A quick in and out is something, let's keep it under 2 minutes. Just a quick hello. Let us know what you're up to today. I'm going to go ahead and be starting out with stations in the Northern California region. If you're coming in through RF or coming through one of the connected nodes or repeaters, if you are located in Northern California, let's take you first in the log.
W6EKW, good morning.
And 6WQ, good morning, Brian.
Kilo Oscar 6, Kilo Bravo Hotel, good morning.
Kilo Delta 6, Charlie Delta Quebec, Rick in North Highlands.
KK7 AIR.
Kilo Oscar 6, Kilo Mike Romeo, over.
All right, we have Robert, KO6KMR, and Scott, KK7AIR. And good morning to Rick, KD6CDQ. And good morning to Tim, KO6 KBH. Good morning to Dan, KN6WQU. And good morning to Ramon, KO6CKW. And there were a couple doubles in there. Who did I miss from Northern California?
Bravo W6, Sierra, November.
We have Tom in there, and somebody doubled in with Tom. KB6SSN, other station, please.
November 6, Charlie Kilo Victor.
And good morning to you there, Carl. All right, let's find out who is coming in through the internet. Internet stations come now.
K6DLK, good morning, Brian.
KC8FQV, Mark in Ohio.
KD3AJN.
KJ5, Whiskey November.
All right, we have Will, KJ5GWN. Good morning to you. Good morning, Anna. KA3Q. Boy, I'm going to have to double check that prefix. KA3AJN, I believe. And good morning to Mark, KC8FQV. And good morning to Dan, K6DLK. All right, up to the top of the list, just a reminder, these are quick in and outs. Please keep your check-ins under 2 minutes, and I am flipping the soft egg timer this morning. Ramon, K06CKW, you're starting us off this morning. Happy Tuesday.
Good morning, Brian, and to the net. Yes, first time I'm starting the net, so this is a big deal for me. Anyways, plain old telephone system, huh? Okay. Well, I don't have POTS phone now, mostly IV, and of course my cell phone, but I do still run, believe it or not, DSL. The fiber, the AT&T fiber only goes to the top of the street, and there's only 9 homes in my cul-de-sac, so I think Wave got in, but I'm sticking to my DSL right now. I do have a backup just in case, but I'm telling you, it only dropped maybe a couple of times in the last 25 years. Back to you.
Well, your luck with DSL was better than mine out here in Meadow Vista. Could never get better than probably 12 down and on a good day 1 up, and constantly down. So I'm glad you're having a good experience. No POTS for you. Ramon, you have a wonderful day. KL6CKW, congratulations. First time at the top of the list. That's quite the accomplishment in this crowd. 7-3.
QSL, likewise, Brian, have a wonderful Tuesday, and the rest of the net, KO6EKW, clear.
And good morning to Dan, KN6WQU.
Good morning, Brian, Internet. I didn't know we were talking about ISP, so let me talk about mine. Just kidding. Hi. No, but we have fiber, and we have Comcast as a backup. Still haven't set up the failover on PFSense yet, but I'll get to it one day. So for now, I just let my mom use the Comcast stuff because she's always complaining, the Wi-Fi don't work. Well, here, have your own Wi-Fi and your own ISP, so hush. Plus, it's actually like for the, I think it's for, Comcast has this thing, it's called the Essential program, so it's like $10 a month for like, I don't know, it's like 50 up and like 2 down, or, I'm sorry, it's 50 down and 2 up. So it's not that fast, but it'll get the job done. And we have AT&T fiber, which finally went down for once. Usually it doesn't, but anyway, other bad news. I broke my favorite motorized ratchet yesterday. I have the Milwaukee Fuel. It's like really fast. It's a long reach, and I snapped the drive line out of it yesterday. So yay. I have another one I need to get fixed anyway, so it's off to the Milwaukee Center to get fixed. I believe they have a warranty of up to 5 years, so we'll see how that works out. If not, then I guess I'm going to have to buy $100 drive shaft. Yeah, I can't believe drive shafts. Those things are $100. That's crazy. Anyway, KN6WQ. Thanks for running that today, Brian. And looks like it's going to be a beautiful day.
All right, good morning, Dan. Yeah, I don't know how we got into ISPs. It has nothing to do with today. Maybe Ramon just threw it in there to distract you. No, today is National Landline Day. Just trying to find out who still has a traditional landline, pots, twisted copper. Pretty rare nowadays. Sorry to hear about the broken Milwaukee. And a quick question before I let you go. Harbor Freight doesn't have anything similar?
So we switched over. We had a whole bunch of problem with our POTS line, so I had to finally switch over to the fiber, the V over IP stuff. No problems anymore. But let's see. No, they don't. The speed is not there. The torque is not there. Milwaukee is like the only place that I can find that. With my ratchet, I can almost spin a nut for our bolts in this case as fast as, like a little 12 volt, impact can. Like, it's really fast. It's got a lot of takeoff torque, too. We call it the, let's see, what is it called? The clutch dump, right? So you just pull the trigger and you stuff the bolt and it just pops it right off. I mean, that's probably why I broke it, but that's not how I did it this time. I was trying to take the bolt off and I was using it as a ratchet when I probably shouldn't have done that. But anyway, especially on what I was trying to take apart, which is a brake, it was a brake caliper on my truck. It was a 17 millimeter bolt, and I should have definitely used maybe half-inch drive. But yeah, whatever. You learn your lessons. But yeah, nothing in Harbor Freight is equivalent to Milwaukee at all, except for the earthquake half-inch drives. That's the only half-inch drive impact that can stand up to me. Everything else, I either catch on fire or it's smoked the next day. KN6WQ.
All right, Dan. Well, I guess there is a new competitor coming in, Vevor, I believe, VEVOR. We have a couple of outlet stores already, and they are supposedly going to give Harbor Freight a run for the money. All right, Dan, you have a good day. Sorry to hear about the loss of a tool that is your favorite in the trade, but hopefully that can get fixed rather soon for you there so you can spin your nuts. KN6WQ, AI6US, have a great day.
Thanks, Brian. Yeah, I already shot VEVOR. Got a couple of VEVOR items already, endoscope, and I think I have a AC recovery machine from VEVOR. Yeah, they are definitely going to give Harbor Freight a run for the money. KN6WQ 73, thank you for running the net today.
Have a great day, Dan. Hey, good morning, Tim. KO6KBH, anything for the net today?
Oh, good morning, Brian. Good morning, Net. Let's see here. Well, in observance of National Nap Day, I'm going to change the gears on you here and get off the ISP for whatever reason. We got sidetracked over there. But for those of you unaware of a Paco pad, I'm going to show the RAF Guide community here some respect, because Auburn is a central hub for the RAF Guide community. Those of you taking a nap today might want to look into a Paco pad, the best camping, sleeping pad on the market. I keep one in my truck, and today I will be taking my lunch and sleeping on my Paco pad. So throw a blanket, throw a Paco pad in your vehicle, and you will be comfortable on this wonderful National Day of Napping. Oh, that's about all I got for my quick in and out, but thanks for running the net, Brian. What you got?
Well, I Googled Paco pad, and maybe I spelled it wrong, P-O-C-O, came up with a tablet. I don't think you're going to be sleeping on a tablet today. Spell that for me.
P-A-C-O, Paco. I want to sleep on a Paco pad. Paco pad.
There we go. Paco pad, available at REI, Backcountry, and many other places. Excellent. Well, enjoy your nap this afternoon, your siesta, and boy, those Paco pads are not cheap. I hope they're comfortable.
They are made of welded PVC plastic, and they will last you a lifetime. I've had two for, oh my gosh, like 15 years, and they are running strong. People run whitewater rapids on their Paco pad, and then they go to sleep on them. So yeah, you buy one, what is it we say in this? Buy ones, cry ones. They're spendy, but they'll last you forever, all right? 730 on the net, KO6KBH. Thanks, Brian.
Good point. Yeah, the absolute worst way to ruin a hike or a backpacking trip or a weekend out is to have your mattress deflate and you wake up with a rock in the middle of your back. You have a great day, Tim, and enjoy your siesta on the Paco pad. Clearing with Tim, let's check in with Rick now, KD6CDQ. And sorry I didn't show up for my meatball sandwich.
Good morning, Brian and Annette. This is KD6CDQ, Rick in beautiful downtown suburban North Highlands. Well, if you had stopped in at 7 o'clock last night, you would have been gravely disappointed. Because something went haywire with me, and I slept till 11 p.m. last night. I was not very happy when I woke up.
Uh-oh, but I bet you those meatballs had absorbed a lot of flavor by that time.
In answer to that wonderful question, well, sports fans, did Rick have a meatball sandwich last night? Yes, sirree, Bob Dixie. He sure the heck did. And it was just like I was describing it. Homemade bun, sub roll that is, a layer of provolone cheese, a layer of meatballs, a layer of green pepper, onion, and red pepper, and another layer of mozzarella cheese, and then I took it with a little more sauce on it, heated it up to melt all that cheese, and gave it one more layer of sauce, which was actually bolognese sauce, and topped it with some Parmesan cheese. Yes, it was wonderful. Yes, it was about a 9-inch sub-roll. Very, very delicious. And yes, I washed it down with a beer. Finally, the old-style phone, well, you bet your sweet so-and-so. I've got a old phone that I keep in reserve because my electronic phone, which are wireless, well, guess what happens when the power goes out? So does the phone. But I got an old Radio Shack unit that has both pulse and the DTMF dial on it, and it's with a headset. And believe me, I have used it several times when my phone system at this house didn't work, and I got out there right from where good old Ma Bell line comes in, touched onto their line. Yep, everything was working. And then got it all taken care of.
Well, you know, California was about to allow the phone company to get rid of POTS, but it is being phased out, not strictly required, but there are some areas that it still is required in those areas. So enjoy the POTS line as long as possible, and it is on its way out. Out here in Meadow Vista, they just kind of gave up on finding pairs. They will not install POTS anymore. They will only try keeping existing lines going, and I've heard people that have had open service calls now for over a year and a half to get their POTS line repaired. So you are one of the lucky ones, Rick. Well, very good. You have a good siesta this afternoon, or as you call it, daytime sleep. You have a great day.
I sure will. As a matter of fact, I'll be turning my radio off earlier than usual, turn off my lights in my room, and I am going to go sleepy by, I hope. Because I got some things I got to do before the sun goes down. This is KD6, 82, Rick in beautiful North Highlands, and I will say 73s.
Have a wonderful Tuesday there, Rick. Clearance KD6 CDQ. And up next, good morning, Scott, KK7AIR.
Hey, good evening. Good evening. Good morning. I was in Las Vegas for a while at the construction trade show, and then I was gonna be there 3 days. Then the winds came up. I think I was there 6 days, but the wait was great because the flight home yesterday was 0 winds throughout the entire eastern Sierra. It was just a beautiful flight. You could get up nice and close to the mountains and all that. But back here in our area, KK7AIR.
Will, I would ask you what you did in Vegas, but we all know what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Was that the IBS show? I ran across something on YouTube last night. They were showing new products, and they called it the IBS show. Is that the show?
No, I went to Con Expo, which is every 3-year trade show of construction. And it's pretty much everything and anything that has to do with building. The Caterpillar booth was incredible. A stadium put in dirt, and they had a show, and it must take weeks and weeks to put all these cranes together, and yeah, it's quite impressive. I did see the Wizard of Oz, and that was worth every cent. That was a very neatly done. It's mind-boggling. I don't know if you've been in there, but it was very well done experience.
No, I have not been in the Sphere yet. Yeah, definitely. I've talked to people that have caught shows in there, and definitely the immersive experience is supposed to be pretty darn incredible. But very good. Last question before I let you go. I know you collect big toys. What did you run across that you had to add to your arsenal?
Well, I went there to look at a chipper that's 800 horsepower, and it's just too big for the type of forest we have in this area. It's too big of a machine. It's the next step up from the 350 horsepower I have. I was hoping it would fit our what we do a little bit better, but it's just too giant. It's a giant machine. So, really, as far as big purchases go, probably the tickets to the Sphere was it.
Yeah, I don't think those tickets come cheaply, and they're still not paying the bill. So hopefully they find a way to get the bills paid, so that can stay a fixture down there. Well, have a great day, and I'm sure you'll find another toy that will fit better in your arsenal of construction equipment there. KK7AIR, AI6US, happy Tuesday. Good morning, Robert. KO6KMR. What do you have for the net this morning?
Well, good morning, and the net. Really don't have anything this morning. Just gonna drink my coffee and listen to y'all guys chat for a while, and then go on with my day. Other than that, nothing special going on. Still continuing my studies, and gonna do the Tuesday afternoon or night class tonight for extra, and looking forward to that. And after tonight, I think there's 3 more classes after that, which is getting down to the end. Over.
Certainly is. Yeah, I know. I believe that's a 10-week study. sessions, plus a couple of labs. So quite the commitment, and definitely wish you well as you study to get that extra. Well, good morning to you. I wish you a good day ahead. Anything else for the net today?
No, nothing else. Just like I say, just going to enjoy the conversation. So on that positive note, Kilo Oscar 6, Kilo Mike Romeo, and just going to be monitoring. Over.
All right. Happy National Napping Day, and just be careful. Don't organize your home office too much today. Have a good one. Clearing with Robert, KO6KMR. Good morning, Tom, KB6SSN.
Well, good morning, Brian in the net, KB6SSN. Tom here. Yeah, just getting back into Auburn here. I don't know what that semi-truck's doing, but in any case, just ran down to Roseville real quick and just getting off the freeway here onto Highway 49. And boy, what a beautiful morning out this morning. Not much traffic, and just a good morning for a drive, and enjoying it thoroughly. We tested another VHF amplifier yesterday, a RM Italy VLA 200V, their version 2 model, and it worked pretty well. It's different, but it's an interesting little box, and we had fun with that. So I think that's about it for ham radio this morning. Have a great day, and thanks for letting me check in. KB6 SSN.
Yeah, we'll have to talk sometime about the RM Italies. I had always not heard them placed too high on a scale of desirability. I guess they in the past had issues with filtration, and I've seen them promoted heavily, and I'm seeing more people buy them. So possibly they've made some changes to improve them. So we'll have to find out some testing results from you. Have a great day, Tom. KB6SSN, AI6US 73.
73, Brian, KB6SSN.
And good morning, Carl, in 6CKV.
Hi, good morning, Brian, and everyone else out there. Well, no POTS line here. When we moved, we dropped it, so I don't even know if we could have gotten it when we moved into this new house. And I've got the air conditioner folks coming to do some repair work, so it's going to be a long day, a little expensive. Back to you, Brian.
Oh, no, expensive HVAC repair. Boy, I would think everything was still under warranty, but I guess not, huh?
No, I didn't get a good warranty, so we got to get some parts replaced. That's going to be a little money. Other than that, not much going on.
All righty. Well, I do know in the Foothills here, POTS lines, that they'll try keeping it going. And in our case here, they tried finding a pair that would be suitable for our internet, and they ran out of pairs. And the guy said, well, we've come to the end of the pairs serving your area. So, this is the best we can do for you. And then I heard, I think it was about 2 years ago, they quit accepting new POTS applications. So, POTS is definitely sunsetting in our area. Well, good morning to you. Good morning to Ruth. And you do have a good day ahead, and sorry to hear about the lighter wallet at the end of the day. In 6CKV, AI6US 73.
Okay, Brian, thanks for running the net. 73, everyone. Have a good Tuesday. This is N6CKV, and hi to Lynn.
Lynn is at work today. She was sad about that. I will pass that on to her. Good morning, Dan. K6DLK.
Hi, just a quick good morning, Brian. Long time no talk. And yes, the discussion on POTS lines is timely. We have POTS lines, plain old telephone system lines, and recently just realized that one of them went dead. We don't know for how long, but typically we still use those to monitor old alarm systems with I think it's a radionics format, and it monitors the fire sprinklers for when the reed switch goes. the monitoring company will let us know that things aren't right in the neighborhood. And interestingly enough, we had a giant construction project across the street, and I think a couple months back when they completed it, they probably cleared out the pairs in the box for that project, and someone probably just reassigned our pair over there because the guy was scratching his head, and we had a service tech out just last week, actually, who was out at the box all day long, from morning until night, to finally get it repaired, and they had to track, I guess, another line through. So yes, it is a thing. They are going away, and people still do use them, and I defer to the professionals out there to educate me as to some other options.
Well, I know a lot of systems you can get a conversion box that will give you the compatibility with your twisted pair equipment, but then it uses an IP connection. So there is kind of a workaround for equipment, but yeah, the reliability, I would say, is probably much better as long as you don't have technicians stealing your line for another customer. But glad you got it worked out. And by the way, good to hear you.
Yeah, great to come on in and say hi. Thanks for having me today. AI6US, always a pleasure. I'll get out of the way because you have a long list. K6DLK73 and aloha.
And aloha Tuesday to you, Dan. And you have a wonderful day ahead. K6DLK, AI6US Coffee Break. Let's head on back and check in with Mark, KC8FQV. Good morning, Mark.
All right, well, good morning, KCFQV. I thought I might have lost you guys. I didn't know where it was at exactly in the list. But it was a no call. It was a lot of them are no good. Bad lines. No number there, just borrowing and stealing. Yeah, there's probably a lot of technicians don't even know what to do with pot lines or anything, probably. And they're not all that difficult. I've never done it, but I'm sure they're not as difficult to work on as some of this new stuff. I was listening to our club. We had our meeting last night, and I was doing Zoom, and they were talking about RFI and how they were, and he was talking about how he tracks it and that. Wow, there's a lot. Yeah, you take a beam, and he said you can sweep it, and then you take a parabolic dish, and just probably one of the ones like you would use with your direct TV, but they take them and MSJ might make them, or some, I don't know who makes, but you take and point that up the pole, and you can find the issues. Sometimes they say, well, you will find them, depending, when you get to the pole. But he said you just move a little bit, you can not see it, and but you're pointing and you get it into you can point it and you can find it. So the RFI is, I remember the cable companies, and they still, I'm sure, have to do it. They fly the airplane over. I remember when I was with the cable company, they did it twice a year, fly over the whole area for leaks, and then, of course, the guys always were, I think, had equipment on the truck that when they were driving, if they seen a leak, driving from site to site, and then probably some of them that all they did do is just troubleshoot leaks and that. But yeah, this stuff is, I see that there's a website I've gone to, it pops up on my, and I've downloaded a lot of stuff. They make test equipment, RODGI. Yeah, I have some of their stuff. Oh, I know where there's a folder at. And but they have a lot of, they have test equipment, but they are giving a lot of posters and a lot of different things out. But they have a lot of things you can get in the mail. And now I can't find it right now. But maybe I'll find it.
righty. Well, you're actually talking about a couple things that I'm very familiar with. I used to work with the cable company head end, and yeah, there are often signal leakage which interferes with aeronautical bands, but anyway, yeah, it's basically a leakage out of the cable systems, and they can receive very large fines for this, and so yes, quite often they'll be checked for that. But all right, well, good. RFI, yeah, the parabolic actually is in the audio frequency range, and so they will track it down with RF frequencies, and the lower frequencies will detect distance. Shorter frequencies are used for closer in VHF, UHF, and then once you get to an individual pole or span, then you switch over to the parabolic microphone. It actually is audio frequencies that they are listening for, and that's why they can narrow it down right down to the insulator or the transformer or even a bad splice, and pretty fascinating stuff. Well, good morning, Mark. You have a wonderful day ahead, and thanks for checking in this morning. KC8FQV AI6US 73.
I'll send it back your way, KCFQV.
All right. Good morning to you. And let's see. I'm moving down the list to Anna. Good morning, Anna. I figured I didn't hear the beginning of your call this time, and I should know it by heart by now. KD3AJN. Good morning, Anna. How's everything in Pennsylvania?
Good morning, Brian, and everyone else on the net today. Everything in Pennsylvania is good today. It's going to get warm, like in the 60s, so that's nice. Tomorrow we're going to have the 60s, but it's going to be stormy. And then on Thursday, the temperature is supposed to be high of 40. So I'm not looking forward to that. But, hey, it's still March. What can you say?
Still March. I don't know if you plant a garden, but I'm on the fence. Do I plant now and risk a chilled roots and rot and possible freeze and enjoy an early harvest, or the alternative, plant too late? Are you a gardener?
No, I am not a gardener. We live in an apartment building, so we don't have any place where we could do that. And that's because I've never really tried to plant vegetables and fruits, but I have had plants and I have killed them. I don't know. I guess I'm just not a good person with plants.
That's because all your wonderful personality comes into your, not diverted into a green thumb. Well, sorry to hear that sounds like you might not even have space for a window box garden. I know some of my friends in the past who have lived in apartments always found a way to at least put a tomato plant out on the patio or some chives in the window or something like that. But if you have a thumb that is not green, probably best to spend your money at the grocery store. Sometimes those tomatoes get pretty costly if you nurse them and water them and pay so much love and attention to them. I often question, they taste better, but they usually aren't cheaper.
Well, we have a small patio where we could put something out there, but like I said, I don't have a green thumb, so I would rather not do that. I'd rather spend my money on radios.
Oh, Anna, I love you more every day. Hi. Well, yes, sometimes money is best spent at what we do best. Well, good morning to you. You have a wonderful day ahead. Anything else for the net this morning?
Just going to visit the kids today for a couple of days, so I'll be gone, and I'll try to check in from up there. I'll be in Newcastle, Pennsylvania, which isn't far from here, but it's far enough. And everyone have a great day. KD3HAN.
It's wonderful that you're able to go and visit the family so often. I just wish that I lived a little closer to my daughter so we could see them more often and watch the granddaughter growing up so fast. KD3AJN AI6US Coffee Break. Thanks, Anna, for checking in. Hey, let's check in with Will down in Oklahoma City, KJ5 GWN. Good morning.
Good morning, Brian. Yep. I am not familiar with the POTS line. I have a traditional landline. Still, I use it as a backup to my cell phone. If one goes down, then I've got the other one to back me up. So, I can, utilize it if I need to. And my TV is set up as such to where my caller ID will, and when it comes across the screen, it will audibly tell me who's calling and what number they're calling from and all such as that. So I constantly have the TV on for that purpose and that purpose alone usually. So, and I have a traditional answering machine and the voicemail of the company where I get the phone through. So if I'm on the other line, people can leave me a message one of two ways, either on the machine or on the regular voicemail. So anyway, that's what I've got, and nothing going on here. It's going to be 83 degrees here today with a possibility of more severe weather. Yay. You got to love Oklahoma in the spring. Anyway, this is KJ5 Golf Whiskey November. Back to you.
From your description, Will, I would think that you don't have a landline anymore. You probably have a VoIP service that's bundled with your cable company. Typically, that's how these systems work. The VoIP service then maps over to your cable TV converter or your cable TV box, which generates that for your TV. So my guess is, though you may have a phone that looks like a traditional landline, it probably is a VoIP service.
Yeah, and I have a phone modem that kind of runs the whole show with my internet and home telephone service combined.
Yeah, unfortunately, out here in our neck of the woods, here up in the Sierra Foothills, services like that. I have a VoIP phone service, and now it's through StarLink. So I feel pretty sure that as long as I have a source of power for my StarLink service, then I will have a phone. But yeah, if you are getting it through a cable company or something, cable companies unfortunately rely on power systems to keep their amplifiers and switches going for fiber, so quite often those are not weather resilient as the old twisted copper pair was. So yeah, please do not have a false sense of security thinking that phone will work if there is a power outage. If the cable goes out, that's probably a good indication that the phone service does as well, unfortunately. kind of got pulled into the Vios or the cable company sales pitch and saved some money, but actually lost their POTS line in the transition. Will, have a wonderful day, and glad to hear that all is well with you, and you have a great Tuesday ahead.
Seven threes, and I keep the cell phone strictly for a backup. If the cable goes out, then I've got my cell phone I can use make phone calls. 7 3s, Brian. This is KJ5 Golf Whiskey November. We're clear and listening.
And I don't know about your area, but they have done a tremendous job over the past, I'd say 5+ years of hardening our cellular system, making sure that the important cells have backup power and have a program to keep them fueled up and operating. Quite interesting to see what can happen to all of our communications devices when you know what hits the fan. KJ5 GWN AI 6US. This is the Coffee Break Net on the W6EK Repeater. Just a reminder, today is National Napping Day, so treat yourself to a siesta this afternoon. Pack your lunch day if you need one. National Landline Day, that's why we're talking about POTS. And Paper Money Day, celebrating the 1862 anniversary of the first United States legal tender notes. Blueberry Popover Day and Organize Your Home Office Day. Just a reminder, a clean desk is an indication of a sick mind. You can use that excuse. Good morning, Coffee Break Net. Let's see who else is out there this morning. If you are short on time, let me know you want to be in and out. I'll put you at the top of the list. Otherwise, let's take some check-ins. Good morning.
N2 DYI.
N9MUF.
Kilo Bravo 6 Lima Uniform Victor. Good morning. KA6 UAI. In and out.
Kilo Charlie 6 Sierra Lima Echo.
Kilo 6 Alpha November.
And Kilo Golf 6 November Lima Whiskey. In and out.
And come back whenever.
This long list this morning,
QV.
I think I'm going to do, well, let's see, I think I'm going to do an in and out because I need to take care of some other things there this morning, Brian.
All right, we have Mark, WB6BJN for in and out. Good morning, Mark. And good morning to Frank, KG6NLW for in and out. And let's see, trying to make sense of my scribblings here. Alpha November, that would be Mike, K6AAN. Good morning, Mike. And good morning to Graydon, KC6SLE. Good morning, Ron, for an in and out, KA6UAI. Good morning, Brett, KAB6LUV. And good morning to Daniel, N9MUF. And good morning to Patrick, N2DYI. I know I missed a few stations there. There was a little bit of kerfuffle going on. What did I miss?
Well, I was probably part of the kerfuffle. KSFQV will be coming back again.
Not sure if I'm making the repeater, but this is Kilo Ocean 6, Mike, India.
Good morning, Jeff. Yeah, making the repeater just fine this morning. A little white noise, but yeah, good. You're making it in. KO6MMI. And good morning to Mark, KC8FQV. Did you have a recheck? Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, we're going to do a recheck whenever you want to put me in the queue. KSFQE.
All right, we have you on the list there, Mark. All right, let's see. Check in with our in and outs first. KA6UAI. Good morning, Ron.
K6UAI. Well, nap day. I already had a 2.5-hour nap today before I got up, so that's how late I got up today, and that's not good. And the organize your office day. I don't really have paper in the office, so the desk just has some ham radio parts on it. But that stays organized because it's all on screen, and all the files are somewhere else, and that sort of thing. And sometimes we have a little bit of paper stacked up over by the scanner, but then it goes in the shredder, and that's it. So it pretty much has to stay organized, and I've done that. I had 2 desks one time in 2 locations, and they were identical. The tops, same pad. Remember the old pads, and same computer setup. Pen was always in the same place. All that good stuff. So it was kind of tactile. Didn't have to see much of it. Anyway, that's it for me for today, and maybe I'll actually get outside by the end of the day. We'll see. K6UAI.
Yeah, I would say the majority of just loose things in my shack are amateur radio related, and like yourself, pretty much everything about my business is electronic until it comes to tax time. And some reason I print a lot of stuff. Not sure why. Ron, you have a wonderful day. Thanks for checking in. Clearing with KA6UAI. Let's check in with Frank now. KG6 in LW.
Oh, I wasn't expecting to be that quick. Good morning, Brian. And Kilo Golf 6 November Lima Whiskey. No pots, unless you're talking about pots and pans, which I know we're not. So there's that. National Nap Day, I think you said, Brian. Yeah, I do that every day with work. I sleep during the daytime for work, so there you go. Check and check. And then I'll leave you with this one for this one. A clean desk is the sign of an insane mind. Anybody that has a clean desk, go get your brain checked out, because something ain't right up there. Oh boy, yeah. I've never had a clean desk. I try to have it organized at least, so I know, okay, the stack of taxes is over here, and the stack of bills is over here for the handful of bills that we still get through paper mail. But other than that, yeah, no, there is no cleanliness on my desk at home. Absolutely not. With that being said, Coffee Break Net's, of course, live every morning on YouTube, and every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday nights is a Let's Listen Live overnight, where I just stream whatever I can hear on HF, VHF, All-Star, and D-Star to the interwebs. Thursday nights, Fix My Shack. Name might be changed, but Fix My Shack at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Come on by with your shack problems. Let's see if we can fix them. And then, of course, the Q&A/AMA on Fridays with Frank at 5 p.m. Pacific. Other than that, Brian, y'all have a great day. I think I'm going to go to bed, maybe, if they have a room ready for me. AI6US KG6 NLW in beautiful Klamath Falls.
Well, good to hear they got you on the rails again. And we go from not hearing you last week to you're about 150% of normal audio volume. So, hey, yeah, listen to the YouTube playback if you want to hear yourself, Frank. Have a wonderful day. Glad to hear you're back out on the rails, and glad to hear you sleep when you're at the hotel and not on the rail. Have a great one. KG6NLW, AI6US 73.
Well, I mean, I do catch a nap here and there on the rails, but we aren't moving. We aren't moving at that point. And I'm loud today? Okay. Well, that's how the cookie crumbles, Brian. 73.
Yeah, must be the gremlin playing with the pots again. Have a great day. Good morning. Let's see, Mark. My gosh, to have a in and out beside your call sign, that just didn't look right in my log. WB6BJN. Good morning, Mark. We have the indication that, well, the sky is a little brighter to the east, but kind of a high overcast clouds this morning. No blue sky, but good morning.
Yeah, nothing serious, Brian. It doesn't mean a thing really. Some of it is a little bit of coastal fog, believe it or not, that is kind of blown in from the coast. Little low pressure area going to go to the south, and then it's going to get downright warm. It's going to get downright hot for Cal. So, in fact, they say by the middle of next week, there's places in Southern California that could get up over 100 degrees. I had to read that discussion twice, but that's what it is. And there could be some 90-plus degree temperatures in the San Joaquin Valley, toward down past Merced and Fresno and Bakersfield area, 80s in much of the northern valley, and I wouldn't be surprised if Redding and Red Bluff got their first 90 next week. So very strong high pressure moving in for California. For us back here, it's a big system. It's a big system where there's going to be severe thunderstorms in a lot of places from the Midwest all the way into the south. There could be a blizzard conditions in the northern part of the United States before this is all said and done. And by next week, once all this goes through, we could get down into the 20s here at night. There's a night next week, we could get into the 20s, even in Tennessee. But tomorrow we are going to have, and here's a new term, a QLCS, a quasi-linear convective system. And so if you want to know what that is a cold front with a line of thunderstorms that could be, some of which could be severe, and there could be, and that's along a front, and it could have some spin-up tornadoes. Wow. Back to you there, Mr. Brian, WB6BJN.
Well, tie down your QL, I think you said CS. I was trying to jot down quickly. New term for me as well. That does not sound good for the Midwest. Unbelievable weather fluctuations this year. 70s and 80s down into the 20s throughout the winter. That's, I won't call it unprecedented, but that sure is unique weather for you.
That's a little bit concerning, but I think we'll get through it. I just hope we don't have no, I don't need any more tornadoes here. One was enough in Clarksville, but hey, you run for cover if you have one. And hopefully it'll come through in the morning, and they say that if there's a lot of rain and thunderstorms, that might keep, the real tornado threat comes with individual supercells. What they, and as long as we don't have any individual supercells, what they call discrete supercells, those are the worst because they have a direct shot at the warm, moist air all by themselves, and so hopefully we won't have that situation ahead of the front. Well, I won't hold it too long here, and I'll maybe tomorrow we'll get in with a little longer situation, and hope Daniel had a great day with his POTA yesterday in that warm weather. WB6BJN, because it's going to come to an end. Back to you there, Brian.
Yeah, definitely sounds that way. Get your POTAs in while you can. Well, Mark, good morning to you. Good morning to Sarah. Thanks for checking in this morning. And yeah, we'll be looking forward to that severe weather and wishing everyone well through that event coming up. Good morning, WB6BJ AI62S. Hey, let's check in. Let's see. I'm going to quickly revisit Mark, KC8FQV. He was looking for a bit of information to share with us. Then we'll get moving down the list. So, KC8FQV, go ahead, Mark.
All right, yeah, KC8FQV. You know, looking for the name of the company that I picked up over on Facebook. You know, pops up. You know, when you start looking for things, yeah. And you might know the name of it. You might know this company. You know, because they do test equipment in that. ROHDE. And CHWARZ. You may know that company, but they have posters and that, and they have spectrum charts. They have a lot of things. I was going to mention that. That's why I was trying to remember the company name. I couldn't remember. I knew it was R-O-A or D. And here, it was sitting right, you know, we're talking about desks and that. Here it was sitting right on the desk, the little flip chart one I got. I got their electronic magnetic compatibility EMCs. You know, I said, I'll get that and see take a look at it. But then, you know, yeah, we have a cable box, all digital. You know, I think, you know, even the electric meters are talking about.
And then Mark was gone. Yeah, Rhodes Schwartz, very prominent name in test equipment. Certainly have owned some of that through the years, and always the employers definitely would purchase that for us to use. Us mere technicians, we would buy it secondhand. Very good. Thank you, Mark, for that. KC8FQV for a little bit more information on the test gear that was used for that RFI detection. Thank you. Hey, good morning, Patrick, into DYI.
Hey, good morning, Brian, and happy Mario Day. Apparently it's Mario Day because M-A-R-I-O looks like, or March 10 looks like M-A-R-I-O, so I guess today's Mario Day. Saw that somewhere, so good that.
I saw that as well. Not being a gamer, it didn't really resonate with me, so I didn't share it. So see, there's my internal filtering.
Yeah, well, I'm not either, but you know, that iconic theme song from the original Mario kind of entered my subconscious when I was a very, very small person, being exposed to people who played it, and it never quite left. So there's that.
And just the mere mention of it has it playing in my head right now. Thanks. No, really, thanks a lot.
Well, it's going to be stuck in your head for the next 41. Gosh, it's been 41 years. Yeah, so have fun.
Yeah, I was kind of in that era where, you know, you would go out, hang out with your friends, go hang out at the bar, and then go back to somebody's place, and they would be playing game. You know, they would pull out to the gaming console, and then somewhere around 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, you would head home, so you get a little sleep before you have to work at 7 o'clock. Yeah, I remember gaming consoles.
Ah, yes. I remember when I was a kid trying to convince my grandparents to buy a Nintendo NES because I wanted one and I knew that I would never get one. So I convinced them to get one.
So what games did you enjoy? I mean, I'm thinking because so much of it is just a visual, so, you know, I'm just, what was out there that you enjoyed?
Well, you know, a lot of it was pattern-based. You know, it was visual, of course, but a lot of it once you understood the patterns and how the mechanics of the games actually worked, I got really, really good at Punch-Out. And Duck Hunt was pretty easy once you understood how the scanning worked and how to aim the gun and all that. There were quite a few titles that I actually wasn't all that bad at.
That's very interesting. I wouldn't even have thought about that. Yeah, but it is a lot about the timing and the repetition. And yeah, how interesting. Thanks for sharing that, Patrick. I would have had no idea that you were a gamer. You amaze me more every day.
Oh yeah, I mean, I am so out of touch with everything that's going on now, it's not even funny, but yeah, we had an Atari 2600, and that was inherited. Kind of my grandfather actually got that in 1977 when it was new, and then I convinced him to pick up an NES, and I messed with Super Nintendo system a little bit, and that's about as far as it went for me. PlayStation for a very short time when I had access to a friend's PlayStation, but yeah, there are blind gamers out there who can have done some pretty amazing stuff that I just don't understand. But anyway, let's see, a couple of other things that came up. Landlines. I haven't had an actual landline for actual voice calls in my life since 2004. And in late 2004, they disconnected the landline, went to a VoIP system, and we used Vonage back then. I don't know if Vonage is even still around. But they were, heavily promoting themselves as, save money and all that. And what was kind of funny about that was around the same time I switched to a new ISP. It was DSL, and it was a naked landline, so it was data only, no phone service, so it didn't have battery, no dial tone. So we were using VoIP over IP, VoIP over the internet, over landline.
I had to look that up myself because I have not seen any Vonage advertising, but yes, they are still there. And, Nextiva gave them the top VoIP provider of 2025. Interesting. We didn't even know that they were still in business.
Yeah, that's actually kind of interesting. Later I switched everybody over to a cheaper VoIP provider that was more open. I had a PBX and did all sorts of crazy stuff with routing and SPA analog adapters and all that stuff. I even had for a little while, I even was mostly just to play with it for more than anything. I had it was a PSTN to, well, not PSTN exactly, but the FXS, so the local part of it, to, I think it was a 4G gateway, so you can plug your regular landline phone into it and uplink to a cell provider. And it did support rotary dial. So, hey, you got your old Western Electric phone with a dial on it, you can totally connect to the cell network with it.
Yeah, I just go through a service that I park a phone number on for my business, and so I used to have a VoIP service, and then I went over to one that I just created my own experience, and that was really good for a while. But then I go, why am I maintaining all of this when I get maybe 4 or 5 valid phone calls a day? And why am I maintaining this big phone system? So now I just park my number on Number Barn, and Number Barn forwards the call over to my cell phone. I even turned off the messaging service on it because all I want to do is have a business number that rings somewhere, and it costs me a whopping $4.99 a month.
Yeah, I'm doing a similar thing with my provider now because I really don't need all those. I have 2 phone numbers that I maintain just because I don't want to lose them, but I'm not really using them anymore. And they cost me about $1.40 a month each.
Yeah, if all I want to do is park, yeah, they have cheaper plans, but because I do have a couple services attached to it. But yeah, it's a great way to keep a separate number. I even dropped my 800 number. You just start looking at things going, in this day and age, does it really make sense to have an 800 number? I mean, who doesn't have free calling on their cellular? I mean, it just, times have changed.
Yeah, I had a toll-free number for a while, too, no longer do, for the same reason. It's kind of funny, though, because I did run into a situation about 10 or 11 years ago when I went to a place to get a clock fixed in, actually, where was it? In Hempstead, I think. And it was kind of funny because I still have a North Carolina cell phone number. I never changed it, never had a reason to change it when I moved to New York City. And so I took this clock to get fixed, and the guy who ran the store tried to call me from his landline at his store, and he couldn't do it because his phone service did not have long distance. It didn't have anywhere. He told me, yeah, I've been running this store since 1973, and this is the first time I had ever tried calling anyone outside the New York City metro area, and it didn't work.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting. It just shows how business requirements change as well. I was about to drop Canada, and then I looked at the price of calling across the border to Canada. So I have outbound calling Canada for an extra, I think, $1.50 a month. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. Some plans even let you call internationally. I know a lot of people have taken like the Google phone approach as well as their VoIP provider.
Yeah, I did that for a little while, and what I actually ended up doing was I used Google Voice just to get a phone number I liked, because it was the only way to get the phone number I wanted, and then I ported it away from Google Voice to another provider.
Kind of interesting. I did not realize that certain phone numbers were permanently affixed to a given exchange, and a phone number I had to fight really hard to get a number away because they said, no, that belongs to this group that services the Sierra Foothills area, and we cannot let that number go. And yeah, it actually became quite an issue. Let's see. I'm trying to remember. What was the messaging and phone service that everyone used and they just phased out this year? Trying to remember. Microsoft bought them and axed them.
Well, that would be Skype, wouldn't it?
Yeah. See, Skype is no longer on any of my apps anymore, and yeah, they took credit monies with them. But yeah, that was kind of interesting. Skype was the go-to for many, many years, and now they just don't exist.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because for the Allnodes Net, I went the other day to TGIF to set up a talk group because I wanted to set up a talk group for the net, and I couldn't do it because something broke, so I went to sign up for their forum, and in their forum, 3 of the fields they have in there are ICQ, doesn't exist anymore, Skype, doesn't exist anymore, and Twitter technically doesn't exist anymore.
Well, that's a great way to put icons on your website that lead to nowhere. I better check my website.
Yeah, I see a lot of that. Anyway, another quick note. You were talking about parabolic reflectors and things in the audio frequency spectrum, and that reminded me of a thing that we did when I was a kid. I was about 13, 14, and I was hanging out with a friend who was also a ham who was my age, and his dad had a lot of old equipment in the basement. One of those things he had was an old military surplus radar dish. And we thought it would be cool to go out in the middle of nowhere, stick a shotgun mic inside this radar dish, and see what we could pick up from how far. And so we got up early one morning when there wasn't a lot going on. He lived out in the country. And we went out into the woods, and we put a microphone, a shotgun inside this aimed it around, and there wasn't a whole lot to hear. We heard a bird, and it was a very, very loud bird. There was nothing else going on. We're like, oh, I wonder where that is. So we went out, found him eventually, 3 miles away.
Maybe it had flown while you were looking for him. Mythbusters, I believe, did a interesting thing on parabolic sound cannons.
I remember that episode, actually. Yeah, that was kind of interesting. But yeah, we got somebody else to drive around, and we stayed right there to make sure that what they found was what we actually heard.
Yeah, no, one of my jobs when I first got into film and video production as the guy that stood on the sidelines with a parabolic mic pointing it at various individuals to pick up their conversations. But yeah, little did I realize that later in life that I would be watching technicians track down RFI using them. That was one thing that just really amazed me. A couple of years ago, we had a guy come out and tracking down interference that we were getting on our repeater. And I'm actually good friends with him because of my interference problems out here in Meadow Vista, but he gave a really good explanation of all the gear he used to myself, and I believe Doug or Tom were there at the time as well. And just a really great in-depth of how they start, what frequencies they start on as they move in, how they identify down to the to the failing crack in an ice insulator. Just super fantastic. And I said, hey, could you come to the club meeting and give that, give a presentation? He says, no, I don't want ham radios operators to know that I exist. I don't know why. I can understand that point of view, though, really. And yeah, cable leaks, you were talking about that too. That was a major source of frustration on one of our repeaters when I was growing up. I don't think it was a problem in the aviation band, so it, of course, didn't really get addressed because it's just a ham radio repeater. Who cares? I'm going to have to look that up. I never really thought, because I wasn't in amateur radio at the time that I worked for the cable company, but yeah, there are definitely overlapping frequencies, and you get a suck out or something on a cold winter day, and those signals, you have miles and miles of coax, that hardline that turns into an antenna.
Yeah, on the low part of the repeater spectrum in VHF, that's where it's really a problem. Right around, actually, a little below where your repeater is. So all the frequencies from like 145.21 to, I guess, 145.29 in my area were very, very noisy because of this cable leak that I don't think got solved for 3 or 4 years.
How interesting. Yeah, I'm just trying to do a quick reference here as to, it'd be the mid-band, so it'd be cable TV channels 14 to 22 would be in that frequency range, and yeah, they can make quite a mess. 6 megahertz wide and varying. Yeah, they can be ugly.
And they were. Yeah, channel 14 is exactly what we had a problem with. Anyway, Brian, I will let you get on to the rest of the net. Good to hear you this morning. And yeah, 80 degrees today, 83 tomorrow, 79 the day after that. And like Mark said, we're going to be down into the lower 20s by the middle of next week. So go figure. Welcome to spring in the South. And by 7-3.
All right. Yeah, my guess would have been channel 17 or 18, unless it was some sort of a mixing issue. But yes, channel 17 is on 141, 6 megahertz wide, and channel 18 is 147. So yeah, interesting. I never really even thought about how how leakage from our cable system affected ham radio operators. I probably would have cared a lot more had somebody come and knocked on and let us know that we had a problem. But most of our plant was underground down in Florida, so didn't really have to worry about that. Just had to look out for lightning. Into DYI, AI6US, almost afternoon. Have a great morning.
Well, let's see. Yep, 10 minutes left. Have a good one. Into DYI. Still morning.
And we didn't even talk about the AllNodes Net quickly. I know people are going, come on, move on. AllNodes Net, any highlights to share?
Well, let's see. Clear nodes came up. There's a clear node update that I don't think is too important. I guess there was a bug fix release. No real details on that. I did mention that I will probably soon have an amateur radio newsline on demand node that people can call. I mentioned that earlier, I think, to you, Brian. No real details on that yet either. There were questions regarding... actually, a really good question came up regarding API limits on the AllStarLink stats page, because someone with 4 nodes with AllScan on all 4 nodes with favorites on each of them was running into API limits, and we were trying to kind of figure that out. I sort of enjoy when those types of questions come up. They're a little bit off the beaten path and stuff like that. And other than that, yep, usual questions and answers. It was a pretty good net last night. Didn't hear any packet loss from anybody.
Well, thanks for that overview. Yeah, he was very excited to hear that you had even given him a thread of, what could possibly be the problem, and that's awesome. Well, amateur radio newsline, I'm kind of interested in that. Will that be on demand, or is that available in timed segments?
That will be completely on demand, so as soon as you call it, it starts from the getting place to the end and then disconnects you no matter where you are and no matter where it is.
That will be awesome. I would like to chat with the repeater committee here, because I think, there's some evenings here that we could call it up and I think amateur radio hotline would be a great service to carry on our repeater. So I'll chat, and we'll maybe become a guinea pig for you. Or another guinea pig. Into DYI, AI6US. Have a wonderful day, 7-3.
Hey, can always use more guinea pigs. The whole idea of the system is to basically have as many streams as it can handle going on once, and they never have any idea that the other ones exist. So, certainly up for a bit of simultaneous testing. 7-3, Brian, into DYI.
Yeah, I like how you're talking about splitting segments so you can get IDs and all that other stuff, and timeouts are avoided. Very well. I'm looking forward to it. Clearing with Patrick, and good morning, Daniel, in 9 MUF.
Good morning, Brian in the net. Yeah, very much Mario Day here. I should actually switch over. I've been running Galaga on MAME for a while. I should switch over to Donkey Kong, which a lot of people forget. If I recall correctly, was the original Mario, though I've got a feeling he appeared somewhere else first. But the first introduction to the States, at least, was Donkey Kong.
The first introduction to me was, hey, car racing looks fun. So I bought an Xbox, and we would use crossover cables so we could put multiple Xboxes together so we could have peer-to-peer racing. So as you can tell, I started much later in this process.
Oh, I remember where the one Donkey Kong machine was in the northern half of the state, just as they were starting to appear. They were definitely a rarity, and that arcade that we had in Great Falls, Montana, about 120 miles from my house, I would save up my quarters, and my parents knew when we went to the mall, they knew where I'd be all day.
I'm going to stand corrected here. my first gaming console probably cost me $19 or $29, I think it was, or some outrageous sum at the time. It was probably 1977 maybe, and yes, it was 2 rotary knobs. Oh yeah, ping pong, 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 pong.
And my grandmother had an Atari 2600, and we, about 2 or 3 years ago, picked up the one that had quite a few of the games built into it and the original feel of those joysticks. Oh yeah, definitely brings back memories. And let's see, POTS Day. We got rid of our POTS line in 2004, I think, and actually did swap that out for Vonage. And we've been a consistent Vonage user ever since. Those were the days when banks didn't want you to give a cell phone number, and in Chicagoland, pizza places wouldn't deliver to a cell phone number. So we used Vonage for quite a while for outbound, or for at least being able to say that we had a home number. And we just forward, if there's something that we'll need to get through to both of us, we'll give them the pseudo landline number now, and both of our cell phones ring. So it's still fairly convenient.
Help me out here. There was a period of time, I remember when I first got my brick Motorola. Oh yeah, talk about freedom, as long as the battery lasted, that you had to physically give a 911 a physical address, and they would actually call you back to verify. Remember that?
Yep, and Vonage, when we set it up, that was one of the things we had to do was set up our 911 location and, like you said, have them call back and verify it and get it all set up.
Yeah, whenever even to this day, when I set up my number barn, I had to define a physical address where that phone was going to be located, or if it was cellular. And yeah, there was no connection GPS forwarding onto those systems. So yeah, there's still kind of a little empty air gap there.
There absolutely is, but yeah, I chuckled when you and Patrick were talking about Vonage. I'm like, no, it still exists. I still use it. I was also frustrated when Skype went out of business because I had a phone number over in Bristol, England that I used for quite a while. I'd get a phone call on it. I also used it when I was managing a team in Belfast because it was like, if you've got to get a hold of me, this might be a little cheaper. And also remember the day before Google Voice came along, when it was just absolutely murderous to call overseas with a cell phone. And now that's one of the reasons I love Google Voice, is because my international calls are so much cheaper now.
One of the main reasons I had Skype was, I've done for years quite a bit of overseas manufacturing. And Skype, without Skype, I can't even imagine what my phone bills would have been. But yeah, Skype came through, and you could talk through issues and with your engineers or design team, and you wouldn't have to be watching that clock tick off at $3 a minute. Very interesting. Still on Vonage. So you should have broke in and saved me that Google lookup. But yeah, they are rated number 1 in customer support and satisfaction. So yeah, I'm glad that all 2 of you voted.
For what we need it for, it works out rather well, and the home phone number was very memorable, and I've no desire to lose it. Let's see. The clean desk. I will admit I'm a person who prefers a clean office and a clean desk. if I'm working something, it can get dirty, but I've found that I save a lot of time by keeping it clean because I can find things more quickly. I would also frustrate my bandmates as we get off the stage and they're like, well, let's just shove it all in the bags and sort it out later. I'm like, well, put it away correctly in the bags. Thank you very much. Because when you say we're going to sort it out later, you mean I'll sort it out later.
Yep, coming out of the film and video production industry, when you would load equipment into the truck, everything went into a specific location, because if it was just loaded by somebody who just wanted to break the gig and get home, oh my gosh. And then even after you got it back to the shop, you would have somebody reorganize it for the next time out, because, yeah, just like musicians, every item has a certain location, otherwise your setup and breakdowns will be hell.
And that's what I find with keeping my desk clear and trying to maintain a clean office. Now, granted, it's a clean office that is modified a little bit so that little Miss Tappity Bonk can't get into things, but I definitely prefer an office where I can lay my hands on things more quickly when I need them.
You know, I kind of do the archaeological approach. There is one pile that I keep over in the corner of the office that probably can go back about 3 years, and when I want to find something, it's a layering process, kind of like lasagna, but I'll just call it archaeological layering. So I kind of remember, okay, yeah, I was working on that project. The diagram probably is about 2/3 of the way. Oh, there it is.
I do use that. While I prefer a clean office, there's a difference between a clean office and a Martha Evans office. And clean, I don't think has to mean absolutely sanitary and spotless.
Oh, no, like we've talked about earlier, a clean desk, sanitation, but sickness of the mind. There has to be a little clutter just to make the mind active. Well, very good. You heard the weather forecast. You better get your POTAs in. Give us an update. How did your son relate to you running CW yesterday?
Yesterday was a lesson in ID10T and Murphy's Law definitely convening with each other. We did get the activation, we did get a CW contact, but everything I could have done wrong, I did do wrong.
Good old Murphy, the third member of your POTA party. Well, what happened, and was, why?
Well, one of them was just boneheadedness. We were operating for a while. When I had run the antenna tuner, usually it's bringing it down from a whole, 2.0 to 1.0 very quickly, and this was a huge one. I was like, there's no reason I should be doing that. And my son said after a while, Dad, isn't there supposed to be a big silver whip on top of the antenna? Oh, that would be why we're not getting out.
I don't know. I've had really good luck tuning up into a dummy load. Oh, yeah. Antennas work a lot better with a whip on top of the coil, huh?
A heck of a lot better. And then it goes downhill from there. The key, for some reason, I don't know how this was, the CW was set up for a paddle, not for a straight key, so dug around in there, finally got that working. That was a nice little 20-minute. And then, even after everything was technically working, after about 45 minutes of calling CQ over that, the old QRL, and nobody would get back to me, I'm like, okay, the frequency is clear, and somebody was using it, so I'd move, and I looked down, and I went, we're not transmitting, and we haven't been transmitting. I had accidentally left it in the practice mode, and so essentially for about an hour and a half of the CW portion of the POTA, we were transmitting into one form of a dummy load or another, or a mismatched key setup, and we managed to get one CW contact, and then my son and I looked at each other and agreed that we were going to grab the computer and knock out a quick FT4 activation so at least we could have time for a beverage and get home in good order. But it was very much ID10T behind that straight key for most of the day.
Well, your son probably really recognizes da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Oh, he absolutely did, and the decoders that we had were working really well. He looked at me after the first CQ and he said, "Dad, what does K mean?" And so I got to explain that to him, and his little hand was tapping right along with me calling CQ, so that was pretty good as well.
Very cool. Aren't you glad you don't have a call sign that ends in K? Well, Daniel, good morning to you, and yeah, happy nap day. So I'm going to try fitting a siesta in this afternoon, and you have I better get down this list. We're having some great conversations, but I think some people are going to be fading here.
No worries. The Basset is barking to get outside, so I should go take care of her. And while I would love a nap, I'm going to try and avoid it since I'm trying to shift back to that monstrosity known as daylight savings time. And if I take a nap, I'm just setting myself back for a couple of days. So 7:30 to you in the net, Brian, and 9 MUF.
Yeah, my brain's still in a scramble. I woke up the day before yesterday at 1 a.m. and last night I woke up at 3 a.m. and yes, indeed, just pick a time and stick. I'm all for it. Have a great day, Daniel. In 9 MUF AI6US, say good morning to Murphy for me. Good morning, Brett. KB6LUV.
Good morning. Yes, KB6LUV, Brett here in beautiful South Natomas, Sacramento, where that orange ball has made its appearance in the sky. And yeah, from what Mark has told us, it looks like it's going to start to be warm. Matter of fact, yesterday I started, getting the pool ready to open it up. This is probably going to be one of the earliest seasons that the pool gets opened at Chateau Beauchamp Russell.
Yeah, when I was living down in Folsom, my daughter was coming down for her spring break when she was at the university. I thought, we'll have some friends over. She's going to be down. I'll just fire up the pool because it was still a bit nippy. A month later, got the bill for that gas, and yeah, I would never start it in March again. Is yours solar heated, or do you run a pool heater, or you just let nature do its thing?
It's a nature thing. Yeah, I can't justify trying to heat a pool with gas. I've tinkered around with the idea of putting in, a bunch of coiled black garden hose up on a roof and kind of do a slow feed into the pool that way, but I just don't really have the space for something like that to not be just a complete eyesore. So anyway, nap day. There are so many other days that nap day should fall on, like the day after Super Bowl or the day after Halloween. Can we move nap day to that day? Because nap day today, if you're going to put a nap day in, and you might as well put it yesterday, the day after the time clock changes, which they shouldn't be changing any dang way.
If you would have asked an uneducated, non-world traveler, Brian, about his opinion of siesta, I would have said, boy, that is a great idea, until I realized that it extended the workday.
Yeah, extends the workday, and the places that have siestas, then they stay open until, 10, 11 o'clock at night. So, no thanks. I'll pass on that. Touch base on POTS Day. So, plain old telephone system. I actually used to work for Pac Bell back in the day. as a residential service customer service representative. So answering the phone when you all had questions about your bill, or you wanted to add caller ID or call waiting or call forwarding. And one of the arguments when people would call in saying, I want to disconnect my telephone line at the time when they were trying to save voice regular lines, is we would argue, oh, well, if you go to a VoIP, you wouldn't necessarily know, 911 might not necessarily know where you are, because there was a lot of confusion at that time with their systems and getting 911 addresses built in. And then same thing with cell service. The 911 service wasn't patched into location. So it was a concern, and it was something that we brought up, and a lot of people didn't necessarily think about at the time when they were getting rid of their regular landline. So that has been solved, and of course now 911 is tied into geographic locations for VoIP as well as cell phones. So no worries there anymore. So yeah, we got rid of our landline quite a long time ago, and probably never get one again.
Probably couldn't get one if you wanted to anymore. I mean, they just they will not even connect up. They won't even take an order up here in the Foothills. And there are only certain areas that they are state is requiring. There's just certain overlays where the Regulatory Commission will not be able to phase out landlines, but very, very small areas. All right. Well, learn a little bit more about you every day. Customer service for a telecommunications company, that builds a lot of patience.
Builds a lot of patience, and I'll tell you what, I had a very, very strong mute button. Remind me to tell you about a story one time when that mute button did not work. Oh boy. Hi. All right. Well, so I'm going to keep this a little bit short so we can get to some other folks here. Before you wrap my knuckles with the ruler, my mom is actually out and about, so Bonnie in Newton, Kansas is not on Broadcastify this morning, but I will say good morning to her anyway, just so that, again, I don't get my knuckles wrapped. Everybody out there in Coffee Break Net land, have an amazing day. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Be blessed. KUB6LUV, Be of Love. 73, clear and listening.
Just thinking of your welfare, I want to keep your mom loving you, my friend. You never know. Maybe she has a Broadcastify account and allows her to do playback. So she might be listening to this on a delayed or maybe even going over YouTube. You never know. Have a wonderful day, Brett. KB6LUV, AI6US. And good morning to Graydon, KC6SLE. You got sunshine up your way? Something is filtering through, but not quite creating a shadow yet.
Good morning. Good morning to all. Yeah, I'm now mobile rather than being stationary. I'm now, I'm in a different county now rather than where I started from. Lisa's laughing. I'm now south of the repeater rather than north of the repeater. I'm actually on a different freeway, Brian.
Oh, we're playing a game of where in the world is Graydon and Lisa?
We're heading south. We're going to do a little shopping down in the Rockland area. I was greeted this morning when I got up and went outside to a coyote standing in the front yard. It's the first coyote I've seen for the year.
Which brings up an interesting question. Is it a coyote or a coyote?
That's a good question. Don't know the technical answer to that, but I'll go with either one. But it's the first one I've seen, and it reminded me, I don't know about you, but I enjoy in the summertime when we sleep with the windows open, listening to the coyote pack, particularly in spring when the pups are growing up. You can tell the different sound from the pups than the male and female coyotes. And I don't know, I enjoy the sound at night. Wake up briefly and you hear the coyotes in the distance. We usually have a den somewhere close to the house.
Didn't hear them last year, but for a couple of years previous to that, we had some foxes nearby, and their kits make a very interesting, kind of almost like a chirp sound, and and then they're more they turn into a yap after a while. But I could not figure out for the longest time, what that sound was. It was too high pitched to be an owl. It was just the most bizarre sound, and neighbor said, "Oh yeah, those are foxes." Did not know that. This year, I hope the nesting geese. We have some Canada geese who have decided they are strutting around, eating all the lawns in the area. I think they've decided that our neighborhood is a great place to nest. So maybe we have something that might attract some coyotes or foxes this year. But no, I have not seen any coyotes walking through our property here. I've seen them, crossing the road on the way up to the freeway, but never here in town.
Comment.
Somebody woke up. KG6 in LW. Go ahead, Frank.
Oh, I haven't been asleep yet. I'll put it this way. Was it Wile-E Coyote or Wile-E Coyote? I grew up with Wile-E Coyote.
Yeah, but when it comes to rap songs, there's a lot of extra things added to the end of words that don't belong there. I don't know. I've heard it both ways, but good point. Wile-E Coyote. Graydon, there we go. A definitive answer. We'll go with the cartoon.
Well, it's Warner Brothers, so I got to trust them, right? Let's see. The only other comment I had, and I'll let you move down the list, is on phone lines. I think you recall that recently I was working on the cat cable in the house, and the cat cable, when we moved in, was actually being used for phone lines. And, I realized that, and the way they had them paired and the way they had them connected together and disassociated all of that. But I ended up with an extra line coming into my panel where everything terminates underneath the house. And it was just to show you how quickly we adapt after we got rid of the landline and all that. I was just baffled by where does this extra line go? Because I knew where all the other ones went. They were labeled. I had labeled them at some point. And then it dawned on me, well, that's where AT&T hooks up. That's the box in front of the house for the phone line.
That is good. Yes. Where does that other line go? Yeah. Technology certainly has changed, hasn't it? But I was doing a little rewiring, pulling another wire into the other room last year when Lynn's dad was spending a little time with us, so he could have a streaming box in there, not Wi-Fi. And I just noticed that there was this little rat's nest of cables under there, and once again, it was like remnants of the DSL that got ripped out. I was scratching my head looking at those cables, wondering, why is that running over towards the back door?
Yeah, it's amazing how quickly we adapt and forget. Anyway, I better let you move on down the list. It's a beautiful day. We're enjoying the warm weather. It might turn hot here quickly, though. I understand that we might be in the 90s at the end of next week.
Oh, they're just luring us to plant our tender plants out there, and then the freeze is going to sneak up on us. You know it's going to happen. I feel we have one more freeze in us here at least. Well, you drive safely, and as we say here in the Foothills, have a good trip down the hill. Be safe.
Brings up memories of my dad, because every time as a young person growing up, I would trip and fall. He said, "Well, did you have a good trip?" With that, I'll sign off. KC6 SLE.
Oh, those clumsy years of your ute. That's funny. Your dad had a good sense of humor. Have a good trip. KC6 SLE, and good morning, Lisa. You guys have a wonderful day. And good morning, Mike, K6AAN. What do you have for the net this morning? We had somebody whose life got in the way of his hobby. K6AAN, Mike, still around? Oh, sorry, we timed him out. Let's see if Jeff is still around. K06MMI. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning, Brian. Good morning, Coffee Break Net. This is Jeff, K06MMI. Just enjoying listening to you guys and doing some dishes. I was enjoying the conversation specifically about video games. I come from the generation that was kind of raised on video games, being born in 1985. And I remember Mario. I remember Donkey Kong. My parents used to be in a bowling league, and we'd go bowling every Monday night. And I remember them feeding me quarters to play Street Fighter on the arcade. So to this day, I've got a very spot in my heart for Street Fighter, specifically on arcade.
As I recall the sound of Street Fighter, was that the one that you would always hear across the arcade? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, to be fair, that could have been a number of games. It could have been Mortal Kombat. It could have been Street Fighter. It could have been, Neo Fighter. They had all different kinds of fighting games. Tekken was a big one that came out. That was, I think N2DYI was talking about having a PlayStation for a short bit. That was the big game for PlayStation when it came out with 3D graphics. It was the start of the all-new craze of 3D graphics in gaming.
Yeah, other than my game of Pong, which I used some valuable lawnmower money to buy, those games kept me entertained for minutes. Yeah, the next time I really ran across video games was, sitting in a bar on some couches, and there were some tables in front of you with Pac-Man on them. And Miss Pac-Man came along, and Donkey Kong and the other things. But yeah, that was I would say the first real gaming was probably Pac-Man.
There was a classic pizza shop in Old Lincoln. Well, I mean, not Old Lincoln. We'll just put one old in front. In older Lincoln, when I was growing up, they had a Miss Pac-Man table. It was like the sit-down. I think that's what you're talking about. You could sit down with two joysticks on either side of the table. You basically put your pizza off to the side and play one-on-one against each other. I think it was basically a CRT television oriented facing upwards that they would play the game on.
Yeah, this was a coffee table. So you had like 4 chairs seated around it, and there was a low-level coffee table, probably 2 feet high, somewhere there. And yeah, you're probably right. Just enough room to put enough to put a CRT under it. Good point.
Yeah, those are the days when video games were simple. I think, man, video games now, it's incredible. My wife and I still like video games. We're both around the same age, and we both have little handheld Nintendo Switches, which takes us back to our nostalgic days of simple video games and enjoying them as opposed to these big, huge releases. They feel like they're talked about for months and months ahead of time, and then when they get released, they don't have all of the working parts, and things are going to get uploaded. It's just too much going on.
Yeah, then when they started adding that, you could buy cheats and things like that, yeah. I'm just not made, I guess I just don't have the right temperament to be a good pimp. I just got tired of managing all my hoes on GTR.
nice. The racing games are awesome too. What do you want to call it? The evolution. I remember playing Rad Racer on NES, which was at my uncle's house after we went camping for my dad's birthday one year. That was my introduction to racing games, and Cruising USA and all of the Gran Turismo. That was my friend Jeff had he had like all the cars and all the money. It was insane. But one thing I did want to bring up that's a little bit more relevant to us all. The other day I got my CW Morse paddle key along with a little V-band USB interface to plug it into my computer, as I do not have a radio or any sort of gear or any way to practice. But that interface allows the keyer to basically tap in keyboard commands. And I lost about a good hour and a half yesterday playing Morse Invaders on MorseInvaders.com.
Very cool. That is cool. Yeah. Well, you brought back some good memories when you mentioned Gran Turismo. Yeah, I had some. Of course, like any good electronic dude, I hacked my Xbox so we could play Gran Turismo on the Xbox. I'm sure that would have gotten me banned from every different platform out there nowadays. Very cool. Well, glad to hear you are getting some fun toys to play with there, and I'm sure you're going to be coming home from the swap meet for the Ham Fest with a couple more items to spend your time.
Yeah, the budget is very limited as we live in East Roseville, which is beautiful and wonderful, but costly. We can only afford to rent at this time and market, and we decided to go down to one income because of, took us a while to have our daughter, and we wanted to make sure we spent a good portion of her young life just enjoying our daughter and spending as much time as possible. So we decided to invest in our family as opposed to invest financially. So whatever I can sell off from other hobbies, that is the money that I will be bringing to HamFest.
Well, you're making good choices there. That's in the family, absolutely. Well, I used to live off of Blue Oaks out in East Roseville, just enjoyed living in that area, and it was very near my work, where had a warehouse there, East Roseville Parkway in Washington, and enjoyed living down there. But yes, expensive homes, and then I decided to move out of that neighborhood where all trees are held up by sticks and rubber bands, went down into a more of a established neighborhood where the neighbors knew each other. The one thing about East Roseville, at least at the time I lived there, it was still so relatively new that the neighbors really didn't have close connections, and you only kept track of your neighbors by maybe you catch the garage door, a quarter of the way closed, and you would know, okay, light switch came on, and there was really no neighborhood. And hopefully, your neighborhood is a little closer than it was at the time that I lived there.
Absolutely. I'm in the Cherry Glen neighborhood, so if you were to draw the line of Douglas from 80 going south on a map, or south? No, sorry, west. So from 80, looking at a map, follow Douglas west, right where Stogstad Park and Royer Park are split by Douglas Boulevard. That's where we're at. So old Roseville, as it were, and this family, all of these people have lived here pretty much their whole lives. Our across the street neighbor has been here since the 50s. All of the concrete in our driveway was poured in 1954, which is when our house was built. But so we don't have the newer amenities, but we have a great dishwasher, a.k.a. me. Speaking of me, This is KO6MMI. I think I want to give it back to you, back to Net Control. Thanks for letting me check in. AI6US, KO6MMI. Clear.
Yeah, you started your check-in by saying you were enjoying the morning listening to the Coffee Break Net and washing dishes, and I wasn't sure if that enjoyment extended to both of those activities. Yeah, my sister used to live in the Kirby Sierra Gardens, I think is what it's referred to as, off of Douglas there, and Kirby Creek, and she was living there at the time that the last flood happened on Kirby Creek, and that's what prompted her to move out of that area onto the south side of Kirby Way. Kirby Ranch, I think it's called. Anyway, you have a wonderful day. Always a pleasure talking with you, and you're making the right choices in life. You never can get those times back with your kids, and I certainly look back on my life and all the things that kept me busy and away from being more part of my daughter growing up, and just kind of go, well, there are certain regrets in life, and part of those are times you didn't see events happen with your kids. So all about making the right choices there. You have a great day. Thanks for checking in this morning, and we'll check in with you another time there, Jeff. KO6MMI, AI6US 73. Good morning, 9:31 a.m. Pacific time. Let's go ahead and take a round of quick in and outs for the Coffee Break Net, and I think we'll be able to fit in another round of maybe some rag chew before the top of the hour. Who's out there? Quick in and outs for the Coffee Break Net.
N1 YACN. This is Mike in Oak Grove. In and out.
KB6ED.
KO6TH. Good morning.
This is November 8, Yankee, Quebec to Juliet. November 8, Yankee, Quebec to Juliet. Ralph from East Lansing, Michigan.
WB6L.
Send it out, please.
K5ASL, Charlie, South Mississippi, in and out.
All right, I think I maybe missed a few people, but let's see who I got. K5ASL, good morning there, Charlie. We'll be back to you in a moment. And KA3VGM, good morning to Jimmy there. And good morning to Sam, K4LGI. N8YQJ, Ralph from, sorry, Ralph. I meant to write that down. We'll be back to you in a moment, find out more about where you're from. KO6TH, good morning, Greg. And good morning to Ed, KB6ED. And good morning to Mike, N1YCN. Did I miss anyone? I'm sure I did. Well, that's interesting. I saw a carrier, but I didn't hear anything. Was somebody trying to check in? Interesting. Yeah, saw a carrier come up, and no audio and no indication on Supermon, so who knows what that was. These are all quick in and outs. Please keep your check-ins to 2 minutes or under, and let's start at the top. N1YCN. Good morning, Mike. What do you have for the net this morning?
Good morning, Brian. This is Mike, N1YCN in Oak Grove. I'm just here trying to get my hate to say shack, but your radio room, wherever, organized, and I'm trying to set up for the weekend. We're doing the big game hunt for the Sacramento Aries, and I'm sure you probably know something about that, and with Jay. Anyway, that's all I'm doing, just trying to get things organized. I dug out my tape measure antenna for my Yagi, so I'm going to use that this weekend, so we'll see what happens. Anyway, I'll back out of here and let you get on to somebody else. Have a great day, Brian, and we'll talk to you soon. N1YCN, I'm Claire.
Okay, Mike. No, I'm sorry, was it SAC Aries or races was putting on a fox hunt this weekend?
Well, no, it's not a fox hunt per se. It's a Jay refers it to big game hunting. And Jay Ballinger, you know him, of course. He goes out there with his truck and he sets up somewhere. And
yeah, I don't know what happened there, Mike. I heard that Jay Ballinger goes out and sets up, and then we lost you.
Well, that's rather rude. Anyway, Jay sets up, and he just lets us know what frequency simplex to use, and then he starts talking for a little bit. He stops, and we go through different phases. He keeps lowering his power down from 50 all the way down to 5. So it's interesting. It's kind of hard to explain, but if you can go to the SAC Aries website and learn about it if you're interested. Take care. 7-3 N1YCN.
Oh, very much. Very good. Yeah, it sounds like a fox hunt to me. I might just come down and give it a try. That sounds fun. You have a great weekend and a great event. N1YCN AI6US. And good morning to Ed, KB6ED.
Good morning, Brian. Good morning to the net. And heard you mentioning Nintendo earlier. I was just wondering if you ever ran across a game called Lock and Chase, kind of a Pac-Man variation.
No, I never have owned a Nintendo. I probably emulated some of their games, but that's not one that I've heard of.
Yeah, just your conversation brought back fond memories of my mom. You know, we got the Nintendo for, I think my sister and I, for the kids. But my mom glommed onto Lock and Chase, and she was just a fanatic for it. And when she was focused on trying to get her high scores, she didn't want any interruptions. She'd get pretty feisty.
Oh, these are just kid games until an adult gets in the room. That's funny. Don't bother Grandma. Grandma's busy. Well, at least you didn't get her hooked on Grand Theft Auto or something like that. That would have been hard to explain to the grandkids.
Yeah, this one involves, I think there were like bank robbers running around trying to get the money, and I forget what the main character's role was, but it had a little... I know it involved money, and so that was the thing she liked, because the points were the high score actually involved like a money amount, and I don't know, that excited her. But fun times. I ended up working in a computer store in Elk Grove for a while, and I remember they rented software, and so UPS would come and we'd get to open up stuff and look at it. I was always amazed by how the graphics were progressing. Of course, anything out now just blows away what was available back then. I remember enjoying the flight simulators most of all, and Didn't really get into the games a lot, more into other stuff, but yeah, those were good times. Anyway, quick in and out. That's all I wanted to mention. Just curious if you had run across that game and just fond memories of my mom. Good times.
Yes, indeed. My mom, I don't even think knew that games existed. But I remember some simulators. Remember one of the first things I ever saw, flight simulator on a Mac. I think it was a Mac Plus, and it was somebody was flying, doing a flight simulation in the chunky chunk. Quite interesting how things have changed. Ed, have a wonderful day. Thanks for checking in this morning. Happy Taco Tuesday to you. KB6ED, AI6US.
Yeah, I just wanted to quickly mention flight simulators that Electronic Arts came out with one called F-18 Interceptor, and I remember I was showing it to my dad. I was just so excited about it because anything before it was just like two-dimensional, and this was three-dimensional space, and the jet would kind of have inertia when you go into a turn. And I remember commenting to my dad, "It's so realistic," and he just had a fit on me. He said, "That is absolutely not realistic." That was funny. But anyway, I'll let you go. KB6ED 73.
Yeah, compared to the black and white blocks chunking around on the screen before that, it is very amazing. And then you add 3D virtual and everything to it now, and highly immersive. Have a great day at KB6ED AI6US. Good morning, Greg, KO6TH.
Good morning, Brian. Good morning, everyone. Greg, KO6TH. Kind of a cloudy day today. It's kind of weird. Hopefully clouds were clear. Been making a lot of electricity these days with the solar panels. Clear skies, cold temperatures. Hit 1.8 kilowatt hours a couple of days ago. So, yay! Energy from the sun. You mentioned living on Blue Oaks Boulevard. Do you remember back when it was called Scow Road? This is back in the early 1980s, before all that stuff, all that area was developed. Scow Road. Much better name, Blue Oaks, right?
Well, from what I understand it, that was way before my time. I would come down to this area and visit my sister occasionally, but that was back when the Galleria was a cow pasture, so that might have been the Scowl family.
I don't know the history of the name. It was Scow Road on the maps. I was working for HP at the time, and we built that complex there on Foothills. So I was one of the first people to move into that. We were in some leased buildings up in Rockland before then. But they put the Blue Oaks through. They put Foothills through. Kind of orphaned some of those pasture lands, and ended up. It was right before I moved up here, but apparently they had a cattle drive down Foothills Boulevard to move some of the livestock from one area to the other. There's a story of our general manager when he was reviewing the site for the development. There was somebody screaming out in the field for help, and he went out there, saw a cow giving birth, having trouble, rolled up his sleeves, and helped deliver this baby calf. Quite the adventure. Set the tone for the entire division and how we operated. Great times. Anyway, on with the day. The sprinkler system in the backyard is fixed. They actually had spare parts for it at Home Depot. I was amazed. That 30, 40-year-old sprinkler valve, the rubber thing that had a pinhole in it, the diaphragm in there, and that's been. I found replacement parts. So yay. And we got cable coming today, the USB extension thing. for testing, and then tomorrow I've got the tree guy coming to remove some diseased bushes. So busy week. Oh, and then tomorrow night, of course, in the shack. KO6TH, back to you.
Well, hopefully that tree trimmer does not cause you to come to fisticuffs with your neighbors again. I remember that one from the early days of the Coffee Break Net. Yeah, no, when I lived off of Blue Oaks, that was after Crocker Ranch went in. I lived in Crocker Ranch for a while before I moved down to Folsom. So, yeah, that kind of puts me in the era way past cow drives coming down Foothills. That made me chuckle. Good morning to you. Have a wonderful day, Greg. And yes, tomorrow evening in the shack, 7:30 p.m. Usually goes about an hour and a half or so. Drop on in. Plenty of room in the shack. The great thing is we could probably only get about 4 people in my shack, but when In the Shack is on Zoom, we sometimes have many more than that. So In the Shack, where we share projects we're working on and share things in and about our shack. Thank you, Greg. You have a wonderful Tuesday.
You too, Brennan. Say hi to everybody, and we'll talk to you later. KO6TH, 73.
7-3, and clearing with Greg, KO6TH. And good morning, N8YQJ, Ralph. Good morning, Ralph. My name is Brian. Welcome to the Coffee Break Net.
Okay, Brian, very good. I am stopped here at the deli just on my way into work. We're located in East Lansing, Michigan. Checked in your but it's been a while. So I am in the deli ordering my food. As soon as it comes up, then I'm just around the corner from work. Like this net, I listen to a lot more and I check in. Sorry about that. It's a local repeater coming in on the same device. So I better sign with you, turn it back to you, and thanks for picking me up.
All right. Well, Ralph, nice to meet you. You just stop by anytime, say hello. And yes, talking about going to a deli and grabbing lunch, I don't know, you got me thinking about it. Maybe a good Reuben sometime today. Have a great day. Thanks again. N1YQJ out of Michigan. That's Ralph. Hey, let's check in with Sam, K4LG, Denver, Colorado. Good morning, Sam.
Good morning, Brian. Everybody in that here for Denver. Nice sunny day in the 50s. Just listening in this morning and having a Denver omelet, which strangely enough, apparently at one time became pretty popular in Russia. But anyway, I had a friend whose father owned a construction company there in Roseville. I think it was Rose Construction or something. But he's passed on. I guess it was a long time ago. I was listening on 12 meters, and a lot of stations coming on there for the 3Y0, but they all were in Europe, all European, as opposed to the other day there was a lot of American stations in the East Coast and Central U.S. So anyway, won't keep it very long. Thank you very much for letting me in here, and everybody have an enjoyable day. K4LGI. Thank you, Brian.
Absolutely. Yeah, I have yet to contact Bouvet. I've heard him a couple times. I probably should have stuck around and tried working him a little harder. Last evening, once again, just briefly, I heard them. But yeah, a lot of stations coming in from Europe. Interesting. I certainly hope that I get them in the log while they're there. Interesting. The live spots up on my ham clock showed that I had been active on 10 meters in the last 2 hours. I'm curious if somebody hacked my call or something. I just happened to look up at ham clock and it showed me active on 10 meters. Don't know how that happened. Have a wonderful day, Sam, and enjoy your Denver omelet in Denver. interesting to know that it was popular in Russia. Have a wonderful day. Hey, good morning, Jimmy. KA3VGM. Anything for the net today?
Good morning, Brian. AI6US, KA3VGM. Good morning, and I hope you're having a good day back there. And good to know you like Rubens, because I'm the only one that doesn't like Rubens. So I usually eat them. And Arby's. Oh, I'm on the radio. She thought I was talking to her. I'm on the radio. And she, but she doesn't like, Reuben, so I have to eat them by myself. And a quick question for you about Ham Clock. With the new version of Ham Clock coming out after its created death, is there a Windows version of that, or is it still only Linux? Over.
I haven't been following it closely to see what releases have come out. Maybe somebody else could make a comment. Or Ham Clock has been ported over to Windows. Any comment out there? To my knowledge, the development so far has just been to support the back-end servers, so Ham Clock continues to run correctly. So anybody have any information on Ham Clock on Windows?
Okay, it doesn't sound like anybody knew anything out there. I'll keep listening here, and maybe somebody will eventually come up with something. I don't really have anything right now that I could put Linux on to run it under Linux. But it sounds like a neat program. I'd like to play with it. BGM. Back to you, Brian. You have a good day.
Yeah, if you want to check out Open Ham Clock, you can run it as a GUI just off the URL. So if you Google Open Ham Clock, it gives something very similar to Ham Clock. I think it's a bit over the top for my liking, a little too much information on the screen. But if you go to that website, and it will open a URL, and you just put in your call sign and your grid square, and then it produces a experience very similar to Ham Clock. So if you want to give it a try, I had looked at it. It was a little too much graphical information for my liking. I really prefer the original Ham Clock. But give that a try, Jimmy.
All right, I'll Google that. Okay, VGM clear.
All right, and you know the great thing about a spouse having different tastes than you is that if you get like something like a Reuben, it's all ours to enjoy. Lynn does the same thing with hot sauce and other things. She will douse her food with that, knowing that it protects her food for her enjoyment only. Have a great day, Jimmy. Clearing with KA3VGM. I'm AI6US Coffee Break Net. And good morning, Charlie. K5ASL. Welcome. Oh, man. Charlie may have been coming in on Fireside on the reflector, East Coast reflector. and they have cleared. Let's just see if Charlie is with us. K5ASL, are you there? All right, nothing heard from Charlie. Yeah, the fireplace network tends to clear a little bit early as they hook up to another net prepping for the 10 o'clock hour, so I should have been more aware of that. Sorry about that. Good morning, Coffee Break Net. Boy, we are running up against the top of the hour, about 5 minutes from the top of the hour. Let's go ahead and just start taking either quick in and outs or for the log. Let me know what you want as you check in. This is the Coffee Break Net on the W6EK Repeater, and I'll just mention that we do have a club meeting this week. So club meeting this Friday, 7:30 p.m. So if you're in the greater Sacramento area, please come on out and join us for the club meeting at the new location. That's at the Placer County HHS Conference Center up in Auburn at the Auburn DeWitt Center. And it's easy access off of I-80. Take the Bell Road exit. Beautiful new facility, secure parking. And just a reminder, if you're coming, please bring a non-perishable food items for the food bank. That's how we give back to the community. Also, let's see, there will be the Loomis Ham Fest coming up. Boy, only 18 days away. Loomis Ham Fest down at the historic Loomis train station. And that is Saturday, March 28th, 6 a.m. for sellers, 7 a.m. for buyers. And drop on by the website, W6EK.org. You probably noticed that we have some incredible prizes. You can buy purchase tickets to win, and we have a plethora of awesome prizes like the bamboo 3D printer, a M1KE by Shark RF, backpack, Jackery power station with solar panels, POV cage for your radio, HRO gift certificates, tons of stuff, alpha antenna, just a ton of prizes this year. So come on out. Loomis, the historic Loomis train station, Saturday, March 28th, whether you come to buy or sell, and we're going to have a great social tent area where you can just sit down and visit with friends. That's what ham fests are all about. It's a great social event, and you can buy and sell a lot of awesome stuff. Well, with that, let's go ahead and reach out and see who would like to get in the log for the Coffee Break Net. In the log or a quick in and out.
Quick in and out with a QS
log only. KO6IJ log only.
Lima Echo with a quick recheck.
Kilo Mike 6 Mike for the log, please. WV7 UK log only.
Kilo November 6 November Uniform Foxtrot for the log.
Kilo Quebec 4 Alpha Papa Delta just for the log.
KI6 LOP for the log.
KI6 TC for the log. WP3 CSY for the log.
Okay, this is who I heard. I'm going to need to get a fill from a couple people, please. WB3CSY, good morning to you there, Rick. Got you in the log. You have a wonderful day ahead. KI6TC, good morning, Glenn. Great to hear you in there this morning. Have a wonderful Taco Tuesday. And good morning to Russ, KI6LOP. You have a wonderful day, Russ. Thanks for checking in. New call sign to me. I need a name and location so I can get you in the log. KQ4 Alpha Papa Delta. Good morning. Your name and location.
This is Kilo Quebec 4 Alpha Papa Delta. My name is Andrew, and I am from the beautiful city of Birmingham in the great state of Alabama.
All right, Andrew. Welcome to the Coffee Break Net, and my name is Brian. We're here every day of the week. Please come on back and visit us again. We are in the wrap-up portion of our net right now. So got you in the log, KQ4APD, Andrew, from Birmingham, Alabama. Good morning, Joshua. KN6NUF, you are in the log and have a wonderful day ahead. And let's see, just a moment. Once again, my handwriting has gotten me in trouble. UKX, I believe that's Dick. Yeah, WB7, UKX, good morning to you there, Dick. And KM6MM, good morning to you, Mike. Have a wonderful day ahead. I'm going to have a recheck with KC6SLE. Recheck. Be right back to you in a moment. And let's see. I have a IHJ. Good morning. That's KO6 IHJ. Larry, got you in the log. And you have a great day ahead. And good morning, Tim. W8LDT, got you in the log. Thanks for checking in this morning. And Bob, I'll put you at the top of the list, K6UDA, for an announcement. Did I miss anyone?
Whiskey 1, Delta Echo Echo for the log.
N5TIN for the log.
All right, let's see. I have a W1DEE. Good morning there, D. Got you down. Thank you for checking in this morning. Good morning to Steve, N5TIN. And I believe that clears us from everybody trying to check in at this time. Let's head up to the top for an announcement. Good morning, Bob. Bob 1, K6UDA. Good morning.
Morning, Brian, K6UDA from Twin Falls, Idaho. Quick QST this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, and it's a little bit different this year, is the Idaho QSO party, a.k.a. the Spud Run. Just wanted to remind everybody, and from all across the country, and you guys from the old country, would love to have you guys making contacts with Idaho stations. That's all I got, Brian, and I know you want to get off and get some breakfast. K6UDA.
The Spud Run is always a lot of fun, and you have good participation from stations up in Idaho as well. Good to hear you, Bob. And yes, what is the exchange? I know I can look it up on contest calendar, but do you recall the exchange for us folks out of state?
Yes, the exchange will be a signal report and your state. So signal report in your state, and you will get back a signal report and the county that you're working. And we've got a lot of rovers this year that are going to be activating counties that are very rarely activated with little to no human residence.
Well, excellent. Glad to hear that rover situation, because, yeah, I know that sometimes counties can be a little sparse on the participation. That is awesome to hear. Well, Bob, we will hopefully get you in the log. You or your group are going to be running under your call or a club call?
I am Studio B to my local club here in Twin Falls. For the first 3 or 4 hours, we'll be probably running. We will be K7S, as in Spud, the first letter in Spud. And I will also be running my call sign. The difference this year from previous years is instead of a complete 24-hour period, we're going to go 10 a.m. to to 10 p.m. on Saturday and 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Sunday. So 2 complete 12-hour periods. That gives the rovers time to get into position from county to county.
That makes a lot of sense. And, plus, you go into the nighttime hours and, there's either going to be a little bit of activity on 40, 80, rarely on 160. You run through those people, and then you just sit there all night wondering why you stayed up all night. So I think that's a great call. Bob, good to hear you, and hopefully we'll get you and your club in our log this weekend. Thanks for that announcement. Have a great day.
Hey, you too, Brian, and hello to all my friends in the old country. K6UDA, I'm clear.
All right, 7-3 there, Bob. And then a recheck, K6SLE. Good morning again, Graydon. What do you have for us?
Thank you, Brian. All this talk about video games reminded me of I think it was the Atari system. I could be wrong, but I think it was the Atari system we bought the kids in the 80s. And it came with a free pack of games, but it was the cartridges that you had to plug into the machine. But one of the games that it came with was a submarine game, and it's where you were the commander of a World War II sub in the Pacific Theater, and you would have to hunt down Japanese warships and supply ships and fuel ships and sink them. The way you won was how much tonnage you succeeded in sinking before they got you. It was actually a very sophisticated, not easy to play, but a very sophisticated program. The kids wouldn't play it because they took too much thought, too much strategy. If you didn't have a strategy, they sank you pretty darn quick, and they depth charge you. So I loved that little game. It was the only one I played on that machine, and I'd wait till everybody in the evening went to bed, and I'd sit down in front of the TV with the console, and I'd play that thing for hours. Got a lot of enjoyment out of it. But I'd let everybody go to bed first, then I'd sit down and do it by myself. KC6 SLE.
Yeah, they had to put a couple of games in there for the parents to embrace and improve. Absolutely. Yeah, I remember that game. And then another one that came out many years later, I think, was the Hunt for Red October with incredible graphics. And then they had another one come out based on airship hunting. Yeah, there were some incredible games that came out. Well, Graydon, I had no idea you were a gamer. So, yeah, remember those cartridges? You had to blow in them a certain way sometimes to make the cartridges work. I remember watching friends, I think, even lick them. Have a great day.
73, KC6 SLE.
Yeah, just remember to lick your cartridge before using. Yeah, those cartridges, as I recall, were pretty finicky. Though I have to question if they were any more finicky than the CD drive, DVD CD drive in my Xbox. All right, this is going to be last call for the log. This is the Coffee Break Net on the W6EK Repeater. Last call.
This is Kilo Bravo 7 Delta Foxtrot Papa KB 7 DSP Mobile and Twin Falls Team Digs.
Kilo Japan 6 Zulu Hotel for the log.
Kilo 6 Victor Papa for the log.
Kilo 0 Sierra Sierra Delta South Dakota for the log. KD6 Beware.
right. Good morning, Jim, KE6POR, and good morning to Tim in North Dakota, K0 Sierra Sierra Delta, and good morning to Dan, K6VP, and good morning to Chris, KJ6 Zulu Hotel, and good morning to Ken, KB7DFP. Steamed eggs. I don't know. It's just, it doesn't sound good to me. Hope you enjoy your lunch, Ken. What's important that you like them, right? Good morning, Coffee Break Net. Last call for check-ins. All right. This has been the Coffee Break Net, where the sun is always shining, the birds are singing, and the fish are jumping. This net, of course, is sponsored by the Sierra Foothills Amateur Radio Club in Northern California. We're here every day of the week, 7:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. Pacific Time. That's 1530 to 1800 UTC. And just invite you back again. Tomorrow, I will be your net host and conversation facilitator once again, and invite you back for some more great conversations. It's been a fun morning. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and wish everybody a wonderful Tuesday ahead. Thanks for being here and being part of this morning's conversation. And I guess we'll be clear. This is AI6US, beautiful Meta Vista, California, returning the W6EK Repeater and connected nodes and other repeaters back to your normal operation, whatever that may be. Have a wonderful day, everybody. 7-3.
AI6US, KC6, SLA.